get up this, and then you can start thinking about your run for home. But this is a horrible test, Sean, so late in the day.
Yes, well, this is the killer one at the end of the very difficult day. The gradient, as you can see, it's 20%, not a long one, 360 metres, but it feels like it goes on forever. And now the question is, back in that chasing group, Cancellara, how much has he got? Will he be able to, really put in a big effort of this one and try and make it across? He needs to try and get rid of the two chasers because they're not going to work. I don't think Erviti is going to last too long, but can Niki Terpstra cling on to Cancellara?
Coming to the fore goes Sep Vanmarcke, and he's decided to offer Peter Sagan a little bit of assistance here, but more than that, I think he needs to shake him out. He needs to shake him off and hopefully just do something. But Sagan sails alongside as if to prove that he's still got what he takes, and he's delivering the power. He stays seated and meted, and look at this. He is absolutely ripping up this climb. If Sagan gets to the end, this could be the ultimate shootout. We'll wait and see. Vanmarcke is going backwards. He's going into the clutches of Cancellara, as you can see. Terpstra's also starting to struggle, and Sagan has gone here. Is this going to be the supreme solo? Are we going to see a double world champion winning day after Armistead did it in the women's race? Will Sagan do it here? 30.1 to go. He rounds that difficult section. He's been over the hardest bit. Now can he sustain it all the way to the line? Big question.
Yes, it's going to be a big ask because Cancellara is coming up very quickly to join up with Sep Vanmarcke, and this is going to be the difficult one maybe for Sagan, because the two, if Vanmarcke can contribute in the chase with Cancellara, well, then it's going to be really difficult for Sagan to stay out there. And we know the qualities of Cancellara, time trialing, that is his real forte point. So for Sagan, he is going to have to put in a big effort to hold off the two.
And look who is here. Lars Boehmer's made it in, I believe. Dylan van Baarle also hanging on, but Sagan supreme at descending, as you know, is going for this. 15 seconds he's got on Cancellara at the moment. He's going to need all of that. 12.7 is the kilometres to go. 30 seconds back though, the other group. Well, we always say that the rule of thumb is a minute for every 10 Ks if you're going to catch a break. But if it's a one-man break, he's totally determined. It is, of course, Peter Sagan. If he adds this to his rainbow jersey, this will ensure his place, as if he wasn't there already, amongst the absolute greats. They used to talk about the Sagan era, and then it kind of went dark a little bit until he won the World Championship. He's now started picking up results, and this would be, Sean, an amazing monument if he manages to pull this off. He's only got 12 seconds though of advantage. That's a huge ask, even for a mighty rider such as Peter Sagan. He's going for it, Sean.
Well, you've got to go for it. You just have to pull every bit of energy out there and try and hold on to this slender lead. 14 seconds, it is growing, and now it's a question of freshness. How fresh is Cancellara? How fresh is Peter Sagan? And of course, Peter Sagan, he has committed quite early. He's been out there for longer than Cancellara, and we can see Cancellara, he's going to get into the time trial mode, but again, will he be able to claw back? 12 seconds, it sounds nothing, but at this point, after such a difficult race, it's so difficult to close down 50 metres, not alone 12 or 13 seconds.
Let's not forget that Sep Vanmarcke and Cancellara have been together before.
Well, they have been together before, and I'm not sure if Sep Vanmarcke, he has really suffered. We could see on the Patersberg, he's just not able to follow Peter Sagan, so he's getting very much to the end of his energy as well. If he rides with Cancellara, well then, maybe they can join up with Sagan, and if he can play his cards right, possibly he could do something, but all depend how he's feeling. And if the group from behind is coming up, that might push him to ride, because the place on the podium is so important for a Belgium. Even to get in the top three in this race, it's of major importance. Vanmarcke
came into the Roubaix Velodrome with Cancellara a few years ago, and all bets, of course, were on Sep Vanmarcke. He knows the track. It should have been his day. It wasn't his day. That's going to be going through his mind right now, Sean.
Yes, well, of course, he knows if he rides with Cancellara, and then it's going to be very difficult for him to do anything in the sprint. If you contribute 100%, but he might just start taking some turns on the front. Again, it depends on the situation. We have to wait and see what's happening behind, because he will be made very much aware of what's happening. And if there's a group coming up, that's where Sep Vanmarcke will start to panic, and that's where he maybe starts working with Cancellara to just hold out and be guaranteed a place on the podium.
19 seconds, it was 12 before he took on the descent, and this is Peter Sagan. He's got his arms, his hands poppy paw styly, as you can see out front. He's got himself into a time trialing position. No tri-bars here, but he's invisibly holding on to them, as you can see. And he's holding on to an advantage. 21 seconds he's got now with 9.4 kilometres to go. Can he do it, Sean?
Well, it's looking really good at the moment. He seems to be pulling out the advantage, although he's changing very quickly there. But again, it is growing in the right direction for Peter Sagan. It looks like that, yes. He is not struggling to hold on to the
look
advantage.
at this. Vanmarcke does not want to offer up the chase, and Cancellara rolls through and begrudgingly takes it on. Cancellara, of course, aware that Vanmarcke has got a decent finish on him as well. He plays cagey occasionally, Vanmarcke. He's been beaten in the past, of course, as you know, at Roubaix by Cancellara, but this is Sagan. He's got 20 seconds now. Is it enough? 19 now. The gap's starting to come down. 18. Oh, this is almost cruel, Sean. Does he want them to join him and then go for a shootout to the line?
Well, I think Cancellara's giving his all. Everybody's giving their all there. Certainly Sagan. He has to, just dig deep here. Cancellara also, we can see here, really, just giving it everything, and 19 seconds at the moment. They can see him out in front, but 19 seconds at this point is a difficult one. We can see the group chasing the two riders here on our screen. They are at 58 seconds, so that advantage for the Cancellara Vanmarcke group is quite sufficient to go on, and that will be the interesting one, because Vanmarcke, he's going to contribute as least as possible. And we can see there, for the moment, he's not doing anything with Cancellara at all. 17
seconds now with 8.3. 16 seconds. By my reckoning, he's going to get caught with about 3 to go if this rate continues to tumble. He may well have something left, Sagan, but Cancellara is in a phenomenal position. His last season, don't forget. We've been following Fabian on Eurosport, your home of cycling, for quite some time. Right now, it may well be at the line. He's not following anybody. 17 seconds, it's holding with 8 kilometres to go. Sagan digs again.
Yes, and we can see there Sep Vanmarcke is starting to do his turn on the front with Cancellara, so that can be the reason for the advantage maybe to come down a little bit. Of course, we're chopping back and forth, and we can see Cancellara's on the front quite a lot when we come back to the two of them. But certainly Vanmarcke is doing, he's doing some turns on the front. I think Cancellara's doing the majority of it, but still, it helps a lot when you have a rider with you that takes it up for a couple of 100 metres and keeps the pace. A little bit of recovery, it's so important at this point in the race.
Lars Bohm, Luke Rowe is indeed here. Geraint Thomas, Dylan van Baarle. Some real quality, but you just feel that it's going to be fourth place only. And there's Christoph at the back. Well, he's been keeping his powder dry. Not this man. He lit the torch paper quite some time ago, and he is going for it. But the question is, he picks up another second with 7.1 to go. Maybe it's going to be even narrower, the margin by the line. Sagan, at moments like this, do you remember at the World Championships where he picked up that rainbow jersey, Sean? He went hard and he went long and he delivered. It was an outstanding piece of smash and grab, if you like. The hordes were upon him at the very last, and it could well be the same kind of scenario right now, despite these straight roads and indeed a clear view of the hare. The hounds at the moment, what have they got left in their legs? That's the point.
Well, that is the point, and 6.6 kilometres, it's a long road, and this road into the finish, it feels like it goes on forever when you're after covering this distance and racing so hard all day. And Peter Sagan in the World Championships, of course, he put in that explosive attack very close to the finish, but this one is a marathon attack for him, because he's been out here in the breakaway, came across with a number of riders to the original breakaway of the day. Now he's here on his own and having to take it up, with 12-13 kilometres to finish. He's fighting and he's just giving it everything to hang on. And as you can see, it looks nothing here on their screens, but still he is just continuing on, and
Well, he's being paced by a photographer here. I'm sure there'll be others aggrieved to see this, but just comes out of the wind as if by magic. Cancellara and Vanmarcke, they have been changing positions, but Vanmarcke, whenever he takes over, the gap just grows a little bit. It's gone back out with Cancellara now relaying back into the void. 14 seconds it holds, Sean, with 5.7 to go. And as you say, doesn't sound like much, 14 seconds, and in normal circumstances it possibly would be bridgeable, but you don't know what Sagan's got left in terms of determination, heart, and indeed what's left in the legs. He's done a lot of work today. His team were largely absent, it seemed, from protecting him, but they helped him hide, Sean, by taking their turn on the front, and he used them gradually, slowly but surely, and then in the end what he always seems to do is do it for himself. Is he going to deliver though? 15 seconds is the gap now.
Yes, I think he will hold on. It's possible that he's been, the director sportif has given him the advice, the advantage you've got, he can just maybe knock it back a fraction when he has 17 or 8 seconds, but when it starts to come down, of course, then you have to push on again, and it's going to be a real interesting one now. Is it going to come under the 14 seconds? If it goes down to 10 seconds, well then we would be saying, I think he's starting to struggle out front, but we're getting closer to the finish. 4.8 to go. It's a situation for Cancellara Vanmarcke where they're going to start running out of road with the advantage of still at 15 seconds.
Well, it seems that Cancellara, the way it stands at the moment, it goes up to 16, 17 seconds. It seems that Cancellara is not going to make it. An unprecedented 4 victories in Flanders, and of course his career, he's declared, is drawing to a close at the end of this season. Sep Vanmarcke will race on, but he's a big man with a big heart, and but is it going to be minor places for him today? Remains to be seen. Bonen, Os and Lutsenko, you're looking at them now as they go under this 5Ks to go banner. 18 seconds is up to now, and now we start to believe in Sagan's capabilities of delivering this. Such a tenuous margin. We thought that Cancellara would be in closing mode. Well, so it has proven, and these guys, I think, now know that this day is not going to belong to them. Unlike Peter Sagan, well, who said the rainbow jersey was a curse? He started winning with it, of course, and it could well be that we get world champion winning the women's race, world champion winning the men's race, and right now that looks like exactly what's going to happen. 18 seconds is the gap as we go up to 3.7 kilometres from home. That says 4. It's a little less than that. The Airbridge man has placed it in the wrong place. In the right place is Sagan. He's going, Sean. He's bidding for glory, and Cancellara must surely know that he's got a lead weight, an anchor on his back in the form of Sep Vanmarcke, who's not going to be given to help out too much here, surely. 20 seconds now, Sagan. 21 seconds, 22 seconds. It's extending, Sean.
Yes, well, I think Sep Vanmarcke is giving his all. What he's got, he's giving here. I know with Cancellara, it looks like that he's not maybe contributing, but he is. The last number of kilometres, he's been really giving very much. I think he's all. But Sagan, it looks like he's too strong for the two, and that is something. Cancellara, you will be getting time checks, and when you see that Sagan is not slowing down at all, well then that is going to be very demoralising for the two chasers, especially for Cancellara, because known as a super time trialist, when you cannot close down in the first number of kilometres after the Patersberg, and we can see it's starting to grow out more and more.
3Ks to go. The ticker says 2.8. I think the ticker's right. It's GPS based. 24 seconds he's got now. Peter Sagan is underscoring his greatness, Sean. He's had so much disappointment. He started winning, we remind you, Gante-Wevelgem runner-up, of course, in the E3 and Tirreno Adriatico. But this is going to be an enormous moment in what is still a very young career for this man.
Well, of course, the last 3-4 years we've been talking about Sagan a lot. When he burst onto the scenes 4 or 5 years ago in the Paris-Nice, I think was the first major once where he won 2 stages, and we said this is a rider who is going to win many big classics, and he has struggled in the past years, getting very close, being in the final, but not managed to pull off a big one, a monument, and then of course winning the World Championships last year. Now he's going to go on and win one of the big classics, the Tour de Flandes, and what a way he's won it. He took up the race, took the race into his hands a long ways out, wasn't afraid to go on the attack with Kwiatkowski and Sep Vanmarcke. he could have waited, started marking Cancellara, did that waiting game, because he's a sprinter. Sometimes, that is the mentality. But Peter Sagan, no, he just goes out, takes the race by the scruff of the neck, and the way he's winning is chapeau.
Oh, it's unbelievable. 24 seconds the gap. It's holding. He's got 1,800 metres to go. They hit the 2K to go marker. The Flamme Rouge beckons, of course, for Peter Sagan. What an amazing young man, and he is still very much in the centre of his career, and he's standing on a mountain at the moment. He can see where he's been, he can see where he's going, and to be honest, right now the odds are rapidly shortening on this man for the Olympic Games. He'll probably go to Rio and bid for gold. He's a world champion, he'd like to be an Olympic champion, but today, as far as the Low Countries are concerned, he is the King of Flanders, and by a margin of 25 seconds. This is absolutely outstanding. The Flamme Rouge is going to belong to him, and so is the title here, and it couldn't happen, quite frankly, to a bigger star in the firmament of cycling. He's got so many fans. He's edgy, he's hard to read, he's humorous, he's a rock star, Sean, and today this is his stage, and what a performance.
What a performance, and as you said, he is great for cycling because he is that style of guy, a rock star style, and that is good for the sport. I think, to change that image, it has been changing for quite a long time, and to win Tour de Flandes with the rainbow jersey on our back, it must be a great feeling.
Must be an absolutely outstanding feeling, and it's been an outstanding performance by Peter Sagan. The puppy balls to the fore, the crowd goes suitably crazy, and they know that they're welcoming their champion. Fabian Cancellara, he set out to make it 4 victories in the great race. It's going to be denied him by an absolutely supreme talent. The Sagan era is alive and well. More chapters surely to be written, but this page, I think, will be turned down at the corner as an extra special day for an extra special rider. Rock and roll, Peter Sagan, here he comes. That line belongs to him, and it must be so welcome for our world champion. Peter Sagan, chapeau, sir. What about that, Sean? We stand as one, and we welcome home a true champion.
What can you say? It's certainly a true champion, and he has had to wait for a long time to win his first monument, but in what style he has won it. As I mentioned, the way he went out and rode this race in the final, that is Peter Sagan style.
Cancellara finishes second and waves to the crowd and shakes his head. He gave everything he possibly could. Blows his cheeks out. Vanmarcke crosses the line. Peter Sagan is suitably mobbed by the media, and the race goes on. It's Lars Bohm, is it? No, just coming to the front. It's Alexander Kristoff. Still not done with this. Luke Rowe, I think, is going to have some fun today as well. Kristoff crosses the line. Luke Rowe in 5th place, just ahead, I believe, of Dylan van Baarle. My. What about that, Sean? What a day. What a wrestle. And what a prize fighter we've got who's taken the title here.
Yes, well, what a day's racing has been. It's been. I think we will hear from the riders in the post-race interview how difficult it has been today. We'll read all about it in the next number of days. I think this race has been, one of the most difficult Tour de Flandes the way they've raced from the beginning.
That must feel so good. Where do you set his store, Sean? It's quite remarkable what he has achieved, and he just carries on achieving it.
Well, certainly the way he's went and won this race, you ask your question, where does he go from here? I think there's many a classic left in Peter Sagan.
A couple of seasons ago, Peter Sagan, there were some questions. Everyone thought he'd had a wobble, and maybe he was turning himself into a different kind of rider. He wasn't quite going up the climbs the same. He was changing himself, perhaps. Well, what emerged from that pupae is just quite remarkable, isn't it? He's taken flight, and he's our world champion. He's won Flanders, Sean. He's got to